The defendant instructed the kids that they were not to answer the door or leave the house. All three children expressed fear about what their mother's response would be if they left the home.
They didn't know what was going on with the kids. They had been told by her that somebody else was babysitting the children.
The children's bodies and clothing were covered in feces, and the girls had difficulty physically walking outside of the residence.
She is not to have any contact with these children by family members, third-party agents, or friends.
I want to show you some images from inside a house in Michigan. Take a look. This is from the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. Look at this absolute mess. And there are things that are so disturbing and disgusting that they're blurred out in some of these photos. And this looks like it's a bathroom of sorts. Let me show you another photo. Again, from inside a home. Now, this is what you need to think about when you look at these pictures. There are three young children living alone in this home for years. Like young children, trying to figure things out and somehow surviving through this. Take a look at the next photo. Here's a bathtub. You don't want to know what's in that bathtub. This is a story that will make you absolutely cry the more you learn about what happened here. So let's get some more information. Joining me, the man overseeing this investigation, Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard. Sheriff, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Am I correct that you have three young children over the course of years that are living alone in this home, never leaving the house?
Absolutely correct. The two young girls never left the house the whole time. The young boy, and this will tear at your heart even more, left twice for mere moments, once to go to the mailbox and once because he wanted to go out and feel what the grass felt like.
As we look at the conditions inside, everyone's wondering, how did they survive this? How did they eat? Where did they sleep? How did they bathe? How would you describe what these children went through, and how many years are we talking about here?
Yeah, so a lot of those things you talk about, how they bathed and how they did hygiene activities, the answer is sadly they didn't. Their toenails were so long when we recovered them that they had difficulty walking outside of the house. We don't believe any hygiene products had been dropped off to the house literally for years. The toilet and the bathtub were non-functional from trash and feces. And they didn't even know how to use hygiene products like a toothbrush. They had to be instructed when we had them at the hospital. So thank God kids are resilient when they're little and young, and they manage to survive. But it was only, I think, by the grace of God to get through this torturous kind of situation. Food was dropped off on an irregular basis on the front porch. They didn't have contact with the outside world or adults for love, for education, for guidance, for anything.
Did they have any form of communication or insight into the outside world, like what was out there?
They had a television, so they were spending a lot of time on television. They had no schooling going on. So, part of the process going forward will be to determine not only their physical health, but their mental health and their educational level. Where are they? Since they've been, in this stasis, if you will, going all the way back to COVID years, where they haven't had any educational instruction. So more than likely they fell backwards. And that's all going to be part of the undertaking to figure out exactly what has to be done to remediate that and help them get on a better path.
And where was mom and dad?
So for a time, Dad was incarcerated. And when he got out at some point, he petitioned the court to have visitation of the children. She contested it. And finally, a consent agreement was entered a couple of years ago, but she still was not allowing him visitation. So he was not in the picture. She was, as I said, occasionally dropping food or having it delivered by like an Instacart or other folks. So she had no contact with the girls and only limited contact via phone to the young boy.
Is there any indication as to why this happened?
Yeah, I don't think any answer would ever make any of us feel any better about it, because how could you? But, nothing that makes any sense to us at this point.
And how did you find these children? How was this sort of uncovered and these children end up being saved?
So originally we got a phone call from the landlord of this property who had said that he had not heard or had contact with the woman paying the rent, the suspect in this case, for some period of time. And in fact, she had not paid the rent going back to October. So he was concerned about her well-being. So we went to the home looking to check in on her and make sure she was okay. And imagine our surprise when we found what we found, with 3 children living in squalor, literally alone and abandoned for years.
How were the children frightened?
Yes, they were scared. They were hiding. 2 of them had locked themselves in a bathroom away from our deputies. And they were very scared. They had been scared and taught not to go outside and not to talk to anyone else.
And there's a lot of people watching at home right now, and their hearts are broken. They want to help. Is there a way people can reach out and help these children?
Yeah, so we have collected all the clothing, if you will, and things on those kind of initial levels that we needed, and we've pivoted to collecting donations. And that is on our social media, Facebook and Instagram, Oakland County Sheriff, that's Oakland County Sheriff, Michigan. So on our webpage, we have a link. 100% of that money that we collect will go to these kids, and to take an extra step to further protect the kids from anyone siphoning any of that off for any reason. We've got an attorney who agreed for pro bono to set up a trust fund to make sure that the money goes directly for the kids' physical health, mental health, and if there's money left over, educational health going forward. The other big question a lot of folks ask, which I'm sure your viewers are, how did they fall through so many cracks, not only with the community and relatives, but schools? And so when I dug a little deeper, I found the school code in our state is silent on student transfers. When one school district requests transcripts of a student, which happened in this case, both from one school in the city to another, neither confirmed that they were actually attending, and so they were dropped from both roles. They were never had any written confirmation that, okay, we have them. And so I am proposing and asking the legislature to create language that says before a student is dropped from the rolls, you have to have written confirmation from an official at another school they have them, they are enrolled there, or they're in a different setting, could be homeschooling or whatever the case may be, but written confirmation. Otherwise, it triggers an investigation.
Absolutely. Sheriff Michael Bouchard out in Oakland County, Michigan. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time and great work. And folks, go on Facebook and in the Instagram site, Oakland County, Michigan Sheriff's Office. Help those kids out. All right, let's bring back in our think tank. Still with us, Eklund Mercy, Kirk Nurmi, Nima Rahmani. Nima, this is, it's inexplicable, but it happened. It happened. And I don't know how it happened. And you think about the whole system here, right? You have a father, okay, he was in jail, but he got out for whatever he did and wanted to see his kids. And somehow, some way, was denied that ability. That would have stopped this a while ago. Thank goodness the landlord complained. Or the landlord had a big heart and was worried about his tenant.
Well, or he was worried that his tenant wasn't paying rent since October. Imagine if she had been paying her rent, Vinny. We'd still probably have these kids in there. I mean, I don't understand how this happens. I mean, the sheriff talked about the school, right? I mean, no one knows where these kids are. Dad, either in dependency court or family court, can't have any custody. What about the family members? Reportedly, Kelly Bryant's mom was taking care of these kids, but grandma hasn't seen her grandchildren in years. I don't know how this possibly could have happened. This is such a failure on so many levels that the landlord has to be. What about the mail? No one's checking the mail. The post office doesn't know for years that no one is getting mail at this house. I mean, Vinny, I'm at a loss, and I've seen a lot, and we all have on the think tank. We've been doing this for decades. I've never seen a case
This is bad.
like this.
I don't understand that. Eklund.
It just seems like spite. I think the mom just had a whole level of spite. The idea that we have court paperwork in which the dad petitioned, mom won, and this is what mom did with the win boggles me. The idea that there's possibly child support payments that went to that house and not one person let's do a hearing to check up on the kids to see where they're at. It's
Yeah.
I'm speechless.
Yep.
You know what?
It takes a lot for Eklund to be speechless. Kirk, we have about 15 seconds left. I'll let you wrap this up for us.
You know, it's both heartbreaking and anger-inducing, but kudos to Sheriff Burchard and his department for stepping up and raising funds for these kids and thinking about their future, because this is really what matters here. The case is going to proceed. She's going to do serious prison time, but we're going to have 3 kids who need the community's help. And I'm grateful that Sheriff Burchard is taking the time to do that. That's awesome.
Kirk Norman, Nima Rahmani, Eklund Mercy, thank you all so much. Great to see you.
That's sad, man, honestly.
Of the mother, Kelly Bryant, she set Kelly Bryant's bond at $250 million. And she says if Bryant is able to pay that bond, she is not allowed to have any communications with her family. You're now looking at the mugshot they were able to get of Kelly Bryant. She is 34 years old, and she is facing 3 charges, that is 3 counts of first-degree child abuse. She allegedly neglected her children in her home for years. What you're looking at now, or about to look at too, these images are graphic, but these depict the living conditions that Kelly Bryant's 3 children were allegedly living in. The living conditions of a 15-year-old boy and a 13 and 12-year-old girl.
A lady was arrested today in Pontiac, Michigan for leaving her 3 children to live all alone for 3 years. The children were ages 15, 13, and 12. The 2 girls were sleeping on a pizza box while the boy was sleeping on a mattress on the floor. Each week, either the mother or a stranger would drop off food on the porch for them to eat, but would not drop off any type of hygiene products, meaning their whole entire house, when they went to go do a wellness check, was filled with feces, all types of things that you can think of. They said that the conditions were deplorable. An animal couldn't live in those conditions. The tubs was filled up with feces. The bathrooms, toilets were stocked up. The bedrooms were a mess. It was a complete mess. They were squatting in this home for 3 whole years, these 3 children. The little boy says that the mom left them and abandoned them while they were just 11, 8, and 9. Instead of attending school, they would play video games all day, watch TV, and just chill around in the home. Now they are with family, and the mother is now arrested. What is going on in Michigan?
I find her a continued danger to the children. My main concern is, I don't know who, if anyone, that the children have been given to. If it is a family member, I'm concerned that she still may have contact with the family member from the jail with instructions to continue to engage in fear tactics to forbid the children from cooperating with authorities in their continued investigation in this manner. For that reason alone, I'm giving her a $250 million bond in this matter, cash only. The other aspects, should she post that bond, she is not to have any contact with these children by family members, third-party agents, or friends. So, Ms. Bryant, I want you to understand, any phone calls from the jail, should you're unable to post this bond, is recorded. Should the court find out that you are sending messages to engage in further fear tactics and intimidation of the children, your phone privileges will be removed. You're not to have, in fact, any contact, should you post this bond, with any children under the age of 18